Hello, little gay people in my phone, and welcome back. Buckle up, because I'm on one today. Yesterday, while I was deeply procrastinating writing this very script, I was scrolling Instagram, watching my stories, liking my carousels, because as a content creator, I can call shit like that research. Until I was stopped in my tracks by an ad. A nerdy girl with her head down. She's got on a cardigan, her hair is pulled back, you get it. This girl is shy. She's a bookworm, she's super smart, and boys don't like her, Some dude in a leather jacket stalks up to her, calls her beautiful. She's like a deer in headlights, like, boom, he kisses her. What? She complies. Wow, what? This cool guy is kissing me, what's happening? Oh my God.
You are so not good at that.
What?
Boom, a whole bunch of their peers reveal themselves, phone cameras out, pointing and laughing. A blonde girl, clearly painted as the cool, pretty, mean girl, steps into the forefront.
There's a reason you're a virgin, loser.
And she's all, no one will ever like you because you're a loser nerd, Like the most literal, on-the-nose, YA drama shit you could muster. The blonde bully character may as well have just stuck her tongue out and blew a raspberry at the girl and went, na boo-boo. Like anyone who is even adjacent to Wattpad in the year of our Lord 2014 knows exactly what I'm talking about when I present this scenario. And y'all, I knew better. I know how the story goes. I know that regardless of Belly getting on that plane to Paris, Conrad will find her.
It's not about any of that, Belly. It's... Fuck, I still love you.
I know that Elle and Noah can't be together because her best friend is his brother, but they will.
Wait, no. I cannot just be another one of your conquests.
And I know these two start off as enemies, but are ending up together regardless of whatever the fuck the actual plot of this fuck-ass movie was that they made just so we could all see if Addison Rae could act.
Can we please just talk about this in private?
No, what kind of person pageant?
The biggest loser we could find so she could turn him into prom king.
But that was before.
Wait. So I was a bet.
No,
I was a fucking bet.
But I know these things, and you know them too. But it doesn't matter. So now, I am a proud member of the Candy Jar TV community, where I'm paying a flat fee to watch mini soap operas with the same 4 rom-com tropes in 16:9. And I love it. This is not sponsored by Candy Jar TV, by the way, but please call me. Anyways, I'm watching this cool jock ask the nerdy girl to give him test answers so he can stay on the soccer team, and in exchange, he'll give her social protection by pretending to be her boyfriend, which will stop blonde bully girl from hiring her cousin to physically beat her ass because creative liberties. This is Candy Jar, okay? But all I'm thinking while I'm watching this is Yuri. Guys, walk with me. Hi, gay. Brief pause from the video for a special shout out from our sponsor, Grow Therapy. So the holidays are coming up, and I'm sure I'm not alone in feeling like it is a very overwhelming and emotionally charged time. So if you haven't considered therapy, there is no better time than the present. No pun intended. With Grow, you can book appointments with as little as 2 days notice, and they have appointments on weekends and at night, so it can work around your schedule. You get to choose from over 19,000 licensed vetted therapists, and you can filter them out by what's important to you. Whether that's identity, gender, faith, you can find someone who gets you. And if the first one isn't the right fit, you can easily switch. No awkward conversations, no long waits, just progress that you can feel and see. Grow works with over 100 insurance providers, and most sessions cost about $21 with insurance. Some people pay as little as $0 depending on their plan. And the best part, there's no subscription, no commitment, it's pay per session. So if you've been waiting for a sign to start therapy, here you go. Because there's a better way to get help, a better way to do therapy, and you deserve it. If you're ready to start your therapy journey with Grow, check out the link in my description or go to growtherapy.co/bitnia. Or hit the QR code somewhere on the screen. And thank you so much to Grow Therapy for sponsoring today's video. Because I just found out about Yuri. And some of you may be shocked considering I literally have a lesbian YouTube channel, yes. But like I said, I was Wattpad adjacent, I wasn't in it for real. So I just found out about Yuri. So if you don't know, Yuri has roots in the manga and anime space, and as it was explained to me, is essentially the shipping of 2 fictional characters who are both women. So yeah, it's a lesbian ship, basically. And recently, there's been a bit of a viral moment for this one particular crack ship on Twitter. This is a new word, okay? I also learned this week. Stay with me. Look at me, you know me, okay? Crack ship is essentially a ship between 2 fictional characters from different media. A super notable example is Elsa from Frozen and Jack Frost. You get it? You get it. But in the past week or so, on lesbian Twitter, it's been Regina George and Roderick Heffley from Diary of a Wimpy Kid. People are making edits, there's fan art, there's a movement. And what's fun about a crack ship as opposed to like a fan cast where fans say who their dream actors would be to star in some adaptation or reboot or whatever is that it's not for anything but the love of the game. It's just good fun. People make jokes, people make art. We all have a fun, peaceful scroll or two on our timelines in between the right-wing AI propaganda. But to my point, there's this growing cultural resonance, a collective pleasant sigh at the thought of these two characters playing out this romantic trope, which of course is mean girl, bad boy, famously. Despite the fact Roderick is in a lot of ways just a boy version of Janice from Mean Girls, but I digress. Anyways, notably, Regina George of all characters already has a nearly universal subcultural headcanon. Walk with me, okay? Canon means something about a character that is true in the universe of a story or a piece of media. And a headcanon is like fan-made, or something one of the creators said in an interview, but it's not substantialized in the actual media. Like the idea that Hannah Montana, Sweet Life on Deck, and Wizards of Waverly Place all exist in the same universe was a headcanon until famously Wizards on Deck with Hannah Montana made it canon. Are you still with me? I have a point, I promise. But I'd say the headcanon that Regina George of Mean Girls fame is a closeted/repressed lesbian is one of the most popular headcanons in Western culture. Or maybe I'm just a lesbian. But with the adaptation of the movie into a musical, readapted into a movie musical that came out in 2024 featuring revered lesbian Renee Rapp, the headcanons gained even more steam, notably because Renee said she played Regina as a closeted/repressed lesbian.
This says Regina is a lesbian. So true, and I heard that from God.
And that got me thinking. Clearly, far too much. So in summary, when it comes to romance tropes, there is this culturally understood language all of us within the subgroup, at least, generally understand. Someone like Colleen Hoover comes to mind. I don't know anything about that lady, or her work, mind you, just that it's insane and problematic and selling out theaters. Because we, and maybe I mean women, but we culturally understand the stakes, setups, characters, arcs, whatever, of what's colloquially known as a chick flick. And that's paramount in culture, and many of us enjoy it. And with my Candy Jar TV subscription as evidence, I think it's apparent I, for one, am a fan. And do I care if the acting is good? Do I care if the writing is good? Does it matter that I literally know exactly how it's going to end? No, not at all. Dare I say, that's actually the whole point. It's cathartic, fantastical, aspirational media, and as much as men want to disparage it, it has its place in culture, and it is making money. Because contrary to popular belief, women matter, and our interests are not inherently shallow and vapid. But lesbians sit at an interesting place within this whole scheme, because many of us have been taught this cultural script, resonate with it, enjoy it, but rarely can actually see ourselves reflected in it. I definitely feel that way. The second my Candy Jar TV free trial ended, regardless of how truly enthralled I was by Bad Boy Jock Dates Go Girl Nerd, I looked for the dykes. Candy Jar, please, call me, I'll write it. All of that to say, one of my absolute favorite tropes in media, and notably not typically lesbian-centered pieces, but B-plot-esque lesbian arcs, and if you want to hear more about that, I expand on it in my video essay about how Netflix hates lesbians, is the mean lesbian, of which Regina George, headcanon lesbian, is the grandfather. And I actually think that type of character speaks so much to how lesbianism, specifically femme-lesbianism, has been understood by the dominant culture. So today's question is, who is the mean lesbian? Why do we love her? And why do we need her? Regina George is the main antagonist in the 2004 cult classic Mean Girls. She's conniving, beautiful, rich, condescending, and well, she is the moment.
Vintage. So adorable. Thanks. That is the ugliest effing skirt I've ever seen.
The main arc of the film follows her taking new student Katie Heron under her wing and teaching her how to be plastic, meaning uniform, attractive to men, and revered by their peers.
Why don't I know you? I'm new. I just moved here from Africa. What?
The film ends, and not to spoil, but it's been like 2 decades, I'm sorry, with her getting hit by a bus.
You could take that fake apology and shove it right up your hairy...
Learning a bit of humility, and eventually letting out her misplaced anger on the field hockey team.
It was perfect, because the jock girls weren't afraid of her.
She's obsessed with appearances, constantly seeking control of everyone around her, and often treats her main love interest, Aaron, as a disposable accessory who's most valued by what her proximity to him can get her, more than she ever seems genuinely interested in him. And then there's Janice.
I don't know why I did it. I guess it's probably because I've got a big lesbian crush on you. Suck on that!
The The tea is that Regina and Janice were close friends until Regina began spreading rumors that Janice was a lesbian who was secretly infatuated with her, and she just didn't feel comfortable with her coming to sleepovers anymore. Janice obviously really resents this, and that beef sets the whole plot in motion in a lot of ways. The headcanon interpretation of this, especially considering Janice does uphold she's straight and ends the film happily in a coupling with a man, albeit she could be bi, or just vibing, of course, but based on all the other things we know about Regina, a lot of people thought it gave a bit of projection and, like, feel talky. Which is a beautiful segue into the conversation about comp het, or compulsive heterosexuality, which is a term that describes the phenomenon in which heterosexuality is deemed the norm, and thus dominant culture teaches women a script that we are all expected to adhere to. And comp het can sometimes be a factor in repressing, invalidating, or ignoring queer attraction or desires that exclude men. Which brings us to our first Regina kin, Miss Cheryl Blossom.
Cheryl? No one invited fascist Barbie to the party.
Wrong, Veronica. No one invited Southside scum to our school.
Listen up, ragamuffins. I will not allow Riverdale High's above-average GPA to suffer because of classrooms that are overcrowded with underachievers.
Cheryl Blossom is a recurring character on the 2017 hit CW series Riverdale, which was adapted from the Archie comics and went on for 7 seasons, against many of our wills. Nonetheless, Cheryl is portrayed as the archetypal rich mean girl throughout season 1, antagonizing Betty and Veronica, the two protagonists, but also going through her own mysterious plot after the death of her twin brother. Much like Regina, she's crass, arrogant, rude, but kind of that girl I fear.
Check your sell-by date, ladies. Faux lesbian kissing hasn't been taboo since 1994.
In season 2, she comes out as bisexual, prompted by feelings she develops for her friend turned love interest, Tony Topaz.
I have a better idea. Why don't you tell me what's bothering you? Because clearly, you're in a lot of pain.
Get your sapphic serpent hands off my body!
And in season 3, she comes out as a lesbian. The two begin at odds due to basically a turf war of sorts before Tony is able to see past Cheryl's mean girl facade and Cheryl actually opens up to her about her queerness.
Her name was Heather. She was my best friend in junior high. She used to sleep over every weekend. Until one night, my mother caught us in the same bed. She said I was deviant.
Cheryl, I am so sorry. But you have to know your mother's wrong. You're not loveless. You're not deviant, okay? You're sensational.
They confess feelings eventually, some time travel bullshit happens, but eventually they are in fact endgame. Now, I'm sure I'm not alone in saying midway through season 2, Riverdale lost me. But what did keep me invested was Cheryl and Tony's relationship, colloquially known by their ship name, Choni. Although Riverdale Cheryl is an adapted character from the comics who is not queer, the shift to give Cheryl this queer coming out arc and multi-season lesbian love story was brilliant. I watched the compilations on YouTube. Sapphic scene television compilations are a lost art, by the way. We're like losing our ancient texts. And that scene where Tony saves Cheryl from the conversion therapy camp, even completely out of context, almost heartwarming, I think.
Cheryl? Are you in here? Tony? We came to rescue you.
And from a production standpoint, it's interesting because it was actually Madeleine Pesch, the actress who plays Cheryl, who realized that the character was a lesbian to begin with.
When I first made Cheryl in the pilot, I called Roberto afterwards and was like, Cheryl's a lesbian. He was like, what? And I was like, I promise you, Roberto, Cheryl is a lesbian. He was like, what do you mean? I was like, she does not like boys. I can tell you right now.
In many ways, revitalizing the connection between a sharp and cutting feminine force being a lesbian that many found in Regina George decades earlier. Cheryl's queerness appears to be something she's cognizant of to some extent at the beginning of the series, but represses to keep the favor of her mother, evidenced most obviously by her going to conversion camp. A part of her wants to deny herself, but through the support of her lover, she's able to accept herself, which in turn presents a real turn in her narrative arc and development as a character. She in many ways represents what potentially happens to someone like Regina George in college, per se. And Cheryl is still like a bitch, but that's her, you know? And there's definitely a softness and a dimensionality revealed through the exploration of her identity and her love with Tony that contextualizes, strengthens, and grounds this narrative in many ways. But speaking of college, and in a similar vein of coming out, there's Leighton Murray from 2021's The Sex Lives of College Girls.
Hi,
Oh, sorry, we don't want to sign your environmental petition or whatever.
So when we first enter the world of the fictional Essex College, we meet 4 roommates and our core protagonists, one of which is fictional lesbian Leighton Murray, played by real-life lesbian Renee Rapp. Leighton is a legacy student at Essex, wealthy, arrogant, condescending, but also low-key mother.
But I did want to come and support Whitney.
You like Whitney?
Yes, I like Whitney. She's our roommate.
Do you like me?
I guess. Stop asking me if I like people. Everyone's fine.
It's a widely held belief that she is like the best character in the show, and after Renee's departure in season 3 to focus on her music career cut Leighton's story short, well, it flopped. But nonetheless, in the 2 seasons and 1 episode that we got to follow Leighton's journey, the writers took a chance to build out the mean lesbian trope even more. Similar to Cheryl, Leighton is not out when the show begins, but in contrast to Cheryl, her feelings are not repressed, just hidden. The big plot twist at the end of the pilot is Leighton meeting up with a MILF from a dating app and getting it on.
It's hard to find the courage to come out, but it's worth it. Maybe for you. I don't want being gay to be my identity. I like my identity. I don't want to be the gay Kappa girl or the lesbian cousin. I don't want to be other. I just want to be me.
By hiding who you are?
No. I came here to hook up, not to be lectured by some suburban mom in a bad cardigan.
As shocking as it was to see this canonized, odd, age gap hookup situation play out on screen, I'm still most shocked by the implication that a lesbian Grindr app exists. Society just hasn't evolved that much yet, unfortunately. But thus, it's evident from the first episode, Leighton is a closeted lesbian, and that's most likely where her arc is going, right? And she meets her main love interest for season 1, a headstrong activist named Alicia.
But you're this pretty, blonde, straight girl who they actually think is worthy of respect.
Well, that's not true.
Yes, it is.
No. No, I mean, what you said about me, you're wrong.
What part am I wrong about?
They have a lovely little will they won't they, is she gay, oh my god, yes I need you so bad moment. Then they date, but ultimately break up after Alicia famously states, if you can't be out with me, I can't be with you. Everyone booed. After the breakup, Leighton has a come-to-Jesus moment about her own fears getting in the way of a person she really cared about, prompting her to come out to her roommate Kimberly and eventually everyone else in her life.
Coming out seems really scary. But I think the only way you can be happy is if you're yourself.
But the big distinction that I hadn't seen played out in regards to this type of arc is that post-breakup / coming out, Leighton doesn't run back to Alicia with flowers and a poem and a change of heart and a U-Haul. No. She starts fucking for real. Leighton becomes the lesbian menace of all of our nightmares.
I'm still seeing Tori. Stephanie's out. August is in. If Monica sends one more gif, she's out. Molly's in. Jess is out. Hot Bangs girl from the student center flossed in front of me, so she's out.
Which one's the one that gave us the fancy candle that I light when I have dairy?
That's Kat. Do not let her in.
And especially when lesbian-centered media can sometimes soften or deeply romanticize relationships between women, I'm thinking of A Portrait of a Lady on Fire or Ammonite, 2 movies I haven't seen, to be fair, no shade, but the concept of her gaze, her hand grazing against my shoulder, the flutter of her eyelash as she blinks, let me clench my thighs, which is totally real, not devaluing that. I thought that, yesterday, genuinely. But sometimes you lose the girl whose voice sounds to you like a cascading symphony, and what's left is bitches and hoes. I'm sorry. Anyways, I thought that was really cool and felt really honest to the generation that they're portraying in the show. And also the person that Leighton is. She's not a lover girl for real. She's a mean girl in love. She's an ice queen who had her ice melted. And she deserved time to explore her queerness, her sexuality, her outness in its fullness without a partner's influence. And I'm so glad she got that, and it was awesome to watch. The writers also did a cool thing in giving Leighton another notable love interest in Tatum for a couple episodes.
Damn. Okay, I've never been Prada shamed before. Here, put your number in my phone.
And Tatum is literally Leighton, but older. And that's another thing I've seen so much in real life lesbian spaces, but not a lot in media. A lot of people have their twin moment. Sometimes you just need to date yourself to find out who you really are, I guess. But naturally, Leighton and Alicia were endgame, and the writers were not going to leave us hanging. So they reunite, and Leighton ends up leaving the school / show, still with Alicia. Oh. Altogether, Lane's queerness really does impact her experiences, and those experiences lead her to some incredible developments throughout the show. She still has her sharp, cunning, somewhat condescending tendencies because, well, she's still kind of a bitch. But that's her, and she's also deeply caring, loyal, and lovable, which began to emerge in a lot of ways with her learning to accept herself for who she is. Next up, we have Yuri Han from XO Kitty.
I'm Kitty. Yuri.
The concept of naming your closeted lesbian character Yuri, Jenny Han, the mind you have. I also just noticed she gave this character her last name. Yuri is, you guessed it, rich, beautiful, a bit of the envy of her peers, and notably, Yuri's a character who's given a lot of depth early on. Like, this isn't your typical, get out of my way, you stupid, ugly loser girl, bully archetype. She's entitled and arrogant and can definitely be rude, but she's not really a bully. Her and the protagonist, Kitty, actually meet on very good terms. As much as, like, you can when you hit someone with your car. But then she gives her a ride, you know? Things take a turn when they have opposing interests, though. Meaning, Kitty's boyfriend, sorry for the spoilers, is Yuri's beard. But Kitty doesn't know this at the time, and Yuri obviously can't tell her because, like, famously, she is closeted, mostly due to her unsupportive mother. The concept of Yuri's homophobic mother naming her Yuri, like, I know they're Korean and not Japanese, obviously, but, like, you didn't Google it? Like, anyways. Due to their conflict of interest, Kitty and Yuri spent a lot of season 1 beefing with each other, until Kitty realizes she got a new crush on Yuri.
Why does it feel like my stomach is being ripped out?
Oh, it's so good. But Yuri actually only needed a beard to hide the fact she's still in a secret relationship with this girl, Juliana. Juliana and Yuri were roommates who started dating until Juliana's parents found out about the pair and sent Julie off to boarding school in London, where she remains for much of season 1. So if you're unfamiliar with XO Kitty, it's like an Americanized K-drama, and it's so good if you're into stuff like this, because already we're playing with so many tropes, and this is only like a third of the show's plot. Like, we got secret crush, I like her but she likes someone else, enemies to lovers, forbidden romance, Yuri. But in season 2, we get something I haven't seen put to screen genuinely since the L Word. Lesbian roommate love triangle.
Okay, there is something that I've been wanting to tell you, and I wasn't really sure how.
Hey, Kitty. I'm Juliana. It's nice to finally meet the girl that helped me and Yuri get back together.
Never put to screen in the sense that they're all women of color. Like, Juliana's back. Her and Yuri are together, but Kitty needs Yuri bad. You guys, you know the vine. I hope. Am I old? Well, and they were roommates. I'm sorry.
And they were roommates.
Oh my god, they were roommates.
Anyways, Yuri is one of the most realized lesbian mean girl characters I've stumbled across, in the sense that her queerness is so invested in by the writers. It's so multifaceted. She's both struggling to come out, but she's also in a place where she's so clearly willing to fight to protect her relationship, evidenced by the scheme she pulls to get a beard in the first place. She's reckoned with herself by the beginning of this series in a way no other character has thus far on this list. But the sensitivity of her circumstances still leaves way for a lot of growth and development for the character in terms of her relationship with her mother, her relationship with herself, and eventually her relationship with Kitty. Really compelling character, really sweet show. Please, please give us more lesbian love triangles. I love bitches and hoes. But I also love silent, painful sapphic pining. There's room for both. And in that vein, kind of, we have my final addition to this list. Monet De Haan, who's actually the inspiration for this video after I mentioned her in my Why Does Netflix Hate Lesbians video essay.
I'm sorry. Ew, what are you doing?
And she is from the Gossip Girl reboot, which came out in 2021, and primarily follows Julian Calloway, who's an Instagram influencer and the daughter to a successful music producer, as well as her gaggle of wealthy Manhattan friends who rule their preppy private school in Upper Manhattan. Notably, Audrey, Monet, and Luna. And while Audrey is like, for real, Julian's best friend, Monet and Luna are her team, supporting her in PR and style as a public figure.
Old money is yesterday's currency, okay? You are Julian fucking Calloway. Even when your dad was public enemy #1, Balenciaga still sent you samples.
So, when Zoya, Julian's estranged half-sister, enters the picture, setting Julian into an arc of humility, self-discovery, and emotional maturity, Monet and Luna, like, hate that.
What are you doing? What if she's cool? She has a headband on.
And that's when we enter frenemy territory before just full-out adversaries.
You ruin it! Like, you ruined everything! Hey, Julian didn't do any of this. I invited Eliza.
Really?
Unfortunately for me, the writing of the Gossip Girl reboot is not great. It's not, you know, I don't love it, but I do think some of their arcs and angles and the narratives they tried to explore were definitely compelling. I'm of the mindset that, dialogue aside, if the show stayed exactly how it is, but Monet was the main character instead of Julian, it would have worked so much better. Monet is a hater-ass bitch. She's the reborn Blair Waldorf character for sure. She is selfish, cruel, vindictive, rude, conceited, jealous, cunning, and she's everything to me. Well, she could have been. She's the closest character to Regina George on this list, but I think supersedes her in the sense that Regina George has power at her school. Monet De Haan has actual, tangible, real-world power. Regina George is rich. Monet De Haan is wealthy. These young women and Gossip Girl are at galas every other weekend. Their parents are among some of the most powerful in the world, and as Julian's PR manager, she clearly has connections to major brands and entities, as well as a deep knowledge of the social media world and economy. And she uses all that for evil, though.
It's all falling into place. Julian won't know what hit her. How'd you come up with this?
Some talent can't be taught.
In terms of her queerness, she's out from the start of the show, but it's very subtle and not integral to her character like at all. We get a little girl kiss in an episode, which I replayed like 14 times because I'm real easy to please like that for real. But in season 2, they go further. Monet gets this really compelling arc that contextualizes her queerness and her relationship to it.
Okay, we've got plenty to send to Gossip Girl.
We're not.
We're good here. Don't get me wrong, you're smart, stunning, cunning, and cruel, but I'm not really into girls.
Excuse me? Everyone knows that you're the supreme sapphic of the sleepover schools.
Everyone thinks I am, but I actually have a boyfriend. Don't tell anyone, though, because this is really working for me.
You're queer baiting? For cred?
Nobody cared about me when I was straight. I became a lesbian, and now I'm front of mind. People are digging around a bit, though, which is why I'm glad to have met you. Now we can both get what we want. Power and influence. What's the problem? You of all people understand it's the illusion that matters, not reality. If you want, I can eat you out every now and then, as long as you let my boyfriend watch.
Now please, the writing. I know. Just stay with me. I'm getting to my point. This is one of the very few moments we see Monet weak, like genuinely hurt. Like I said, this is a character with an immense amount of access to power and capital. She's incredibly entitled and is absolutely apt in making things heed her favor. This moment of weakness where, yes, she's being rejected, but more so she's reckoning with her own intersectional marginality is one of her strongest moments as a character. Like, it's giving, you can have all the money in the world, but you are still a dyke though. This narrative choice where a character is willing to fake queerness for social capital, regardless of like, you know, oppression, definitely feels a little like woke adjacent millennial writing. Someone who's like, everybody wants to be gay now, it's like a crime to be straight. Like, I don't quite believe that. I feel like the other character would need to be fleshed out more for me to buy that, because mind you, we never see that girl again. But the position it puts Monet in struck me, especially when in something like the Gossip Girl reboot that's coming out in 2021, you know they were going to do a little DI. And that's not inherently bad, but typically when people pigeonhole diversity into famously a not diverse franchise, it's like a band-aid. But they don't actually see it as an opportunity to diversify the storylines. So this was cool. It felt honest. It didn't feel like, girl boss, yes, we have our queen mean girl and she's a black lesbian, watch her strong black woman slay. Like, it felt like there was space to explore the reality of a character who has such immense power, but also so little at the same time. And I'm kind of dragging it because we don't get too much more with Monet in this vein. But I will say for the show overall, there is more of that ethos. It's not a surface level show. They try to find these interesting idiosyncrasies in culture that are really compelling ideas. They just do not execute them well. But Monet I find fascinating because she's out from the start. She's ho city boots, you know, no actual love interest. She's just getting bodies for real. And there's no coming out. There's no self-acceptance issues, at least in the canon. Like, she just is gay. And I said I appreciate that in my Netflix video, and I do. I think there's value in just letting gay people exist on screen without it having to be a thing. But I think in this case it did the show a disservice. I think there was a real opportunity to pull from a Regina George or a Cheryl Blossom even, and expand on this trope. I think it would have resonated way more. Julian's arc, which is mostly about reckoning with her relationship to status and her relationship to her family, is interesting, but I don't think it was able to touch the heart of what makes a show like this compelling. I think there also could have been space for that narrative with Julian in a Monet-centered version of this show. Because the fun of a headcanon, the fun of lesbian Regina George, is asking ourselves, what made her so fucking mean? Where does such rampant internalized misogyny come from? And for these characters, it's their mom, a lot of the time it's actually their mom. But also it's society, it's compet, it's Monet being a black American and Yuri being Korean, it's the boys they've kissed and the girls they hate and why, it's wealth, it's region. It's the reality of the world that we as viewers all recognize exists beyond the script we're watching play out. And when writers figure that out and honor that, it makes shows better. I also think the resonance of the mean femme lesbian character has given way to such a different understanding of lesbianism to the masses. I don't think it's a stretch to say highly femme lesbians are more palatable to audiences. I think all the canon lesbians in this video are femme for that reason, and that's fucking annoying. But nonetheless, in real life, femme lesbians are often treated like they're not real. So having characters that represent us is super cool because famously, we do exist. But to just touch on the history of high femme for a second, because this idea really did come from Twitter, and I'm pretty much exclusively on high femme and stone butch Twitter, and I've learned a lot about that subsection of the lesbian community from Twitter. High femme and stone butch are historic terms to many, not aesthetics, but identities. This not necessarily mean, but a very feminine lesbian with high standards who wants to be treated typically with chivalry and doted on, like princess treatment, and a butch who wants to provide and dote. They go together. Obviously, there's levels to the game and nuance, and everyone's different, but like high femme and stone butch like mean something, and is and has been like a real life thing. And no, it's not heteronormative because there's no man. Nobody's the man. It's just a type of lesbian relationship that two people can take part in because it feels good. And I just feel like a lot of these characters, or damn, like at least one, would have a butch counterpart. All that to say, I'm gonna headcanon Raja Kefli as a trans-mass lesbian, I guess. I don't know. I think that's all I think. I kind of went off, y'all. I told you I was on one. I hope this made sense. Go off in the comments. I think there's so much to expand on in terms of media and in terms of queerness on this topic. So thanks so much for watching. Follow my Instagram, and I'll see you next week, gay. Bye.